What's up, girly? I just had two really sweet girls from a church come knock on my door, and they pretty much said, like, do you remember requesting to learn about the word of Jesus? And so I just said no, but I have a lot of followers. I'm getting a lot of hate right now, so that's who sent you. And they were really nice, really understanding, and then they went on their way. But I figure we need to address it, or else people will never know the truth. People will never know my story. I've never been great at words, so that's why there's going to be cuts in this. But I guess let's just start from the very beginning. In 2020 is when I made my OnlyFans, and I wasn't very successful on it, and I was unemployed, and I didn't really post a whole lot. So I had it in 2020, used it for like probably not even a year, and then I dropped it. And so in 2021 about is when I met my ex-fiance, and we got engaged in 2022, and we also broke up in 2022. But I would say that this whole OnlyFans story starts from when we were still together. So while we were still together, we were very much struggling with like sex and like just having that appeal with each other. So one thing he suggested to kind of get us going was for me to restart my OnlyFans. And then if I was making money from what we were doing, we would be like more motivated to do it more often. That was never enough. And then it went from doing that to he convinced me to do threesomes. So we did a couple threesomes, and now his parents were swingers. So it makes sense that he would be into all this stuff that I was never going to be enough. But I rode with it because we just got engaged and I was trying to stay together. I didn't want to be alone. After the threesomes weren't really doing much for us, it just got to a point where he would go hook up with people and it was okay if we saw other people pretty much. I never did it, but he did it a lot of times. I said no whenever he first suggested that I start my OnlyFans, and then it was a lot of convincing. So then I started it again, and then it was a lot of convincing for the threesomes. It was a lot of convincing for the doing it with other people. And then it got to the point where we broke up anyways. Now, a lot of people know why we broke up. He was very much abusive. He had anger issues. I mean, not just physically abusive, but mentally abusive. And the thing is, when you're gay, one of you's the bottom, one of you's the top, typically, not always. And so I was the bottom, and I just wasn't putting out as much as he wanted. He ideally wanted that every single day. And so that's why I was like, well, for us to be happy together, I'm fine with you doing it with other people. Was I living a happy life? No, I was completely miserable, and we ended up breaking up anyways. And after we broke up was whenever I really started going down. So after we broke up, I just started living on my own for the first time ever. And I was already doing kind of well for my OnlyFans from us posting content together. I had like 360 subs, which is a lot of money a month. I was getting a lot of money a week. So when we broke up, that's what I focused a lot on. And it's embarrassing how hard I try hard at it. I used to do so many things that I just don't do anymore, like wear wigs, like dress feminine, just wearing lingerie. And like every single day I would try hard. I would come home from work and I would try it. I would wake up in the morning, I would try it, and obviously I would be at work and I would try it. Now, growing up how I did, it's no shock that I was really excited seeing all this money that was coming in. And so I tried really hard. I posted hundreds, if not thousands of times a day in so many Reddit pages, on my OnlyFans, on my Twitter, just stuff like that. And as you know, I was working as a preschool teacher, technically pre-K, pre-kindergarten. And so I had a lot of free time at work where I would post on those apps. I did go to the bathroom a few times and snap a nude. A lot of the reason why I did that was because I was getting paid by people, and now when I said that, people thought I was getting paid by like I don't know if you can say this word, PDF files, you know what I'm trying to say. People thought I was catering to them, and now with some of those Reddit groups I was in, I should not have been in. They were definitely like dad, son, trans girls. I got kicked out of a lot of groups for like not even fitting the criteria, and it was definitely weird. But when you're in sex work, I don't know. I was just too blinded by the money that was coming in. I know that's no excuse. So then fast forward to the day I took my first nude at work. I honestly don't remember it, but I do remember that I would get paid like say $45 to take a picture. They'd say, go take it. And I would. Now, I never did any of this while clocked in. I wasn't allowed to have bathroom breaks like that unless it was an emergency, of course. So when I was in the bathroom, I was upstairs, classrooms were downstairs. I was far away from everyone in the teacher's bathroom that was locked. That's another thing people are confused about, because they see that the toilets had like little training seats on it, and there was 2 toilets in the bathroom, which was kind of weird. And I think like originally a long time ago, those were kids' bathrooms and we would use them in an emergency, but for For the most part, those were for the teachers. I'm not excusing anything I did. There's definitely no excuse, but I do just want to say that it would have happened at that time at any job I worked at. If I was working at the movie theater, it still would have happened there instead. It just so happened to be at the daycare, which makes everything so much more worse. I didn't even fully remember anything until people went on my OnlyFans and they found it for me. And a lot of people are saying that I'm still getting paid for those posts, or that they're still up, but they're not. I took those down already. And if you go to my OnlyFans, you'll see I have thousands and thousands and thousands of posts. And I scrolled so far, as much as I could, to find them all. And it was probably like 4 or 5 different posts. There's no reason or excuse I shouldn't have waited till I got home. I guess I was just too focused on the money. And at that time, I hadn't started my social media career, or maybe I just started it, but I was really focused on the success I was getting on OnlyFans and all the money I was earning, and I used that money to start my shopping vlogs, and that's how I got started on social media full time. But I didn't become full time overnight. It took me over a year to start accumulating money like that, and then to start being successful on social media. Should I have done it? No. It was gross. It doesn't excuse anything, but at the same time, I hate when people call me names when I know it's not true, or people assume that I was doing stuff that I wasn't doing just because it was at a daycare. Where it was had nothing to do with what I was doing or what I was putting out or the people I was talking to. Those people did not know where I worked. Those people did not care where I work. I remember I did post in some of those groups before, like, I'm a teacher. I was trying to have that shock factor. I was trying to have that thing that makes me kind of different. A lot of the captions and the things I would use, like, I know I shouldn't be doing this here, I would use as clickbait, because I know whenever you post like that on your OnlyFans, people can see your captions, but they can't see the stuff that you're actually posting. Now, my work did know about my OnlyFans. I made a video about this a while ago, how people sent my nudes in like a letter to my bosses, and my bosses confronted me about it, but they completely had my back. They never judged me, but they found it disgusting that there were people online who were coming after me like that. And so we did what we could to protect myself and not let people know where I work anymore. And I know my full story, I know the truth, but that does not excuse what I did at the preschool, and that does not excuse. I also have racist tweets, which I know if I address this, people will bring that up. I have tweets from like 2014 where I said the most insane things. I said things about animals I shouldn't have said, like abusive, not sexual. And I said things about people, groups of people, Black people, Asian people. I was very much unhinged and kind of wild as a kid, and I don't want to use the house I lived in as an excuse. There really is no excuse, but I do want to just let you know that the person I've been on social media this whole last few years, the person you've seen me grow into the last year specifically, that's the person who I am today. And so that's why I acted so removed from that and almost like I didn't care or something, because it was so long ago in my mind that it's not I didn't care, it's just it doesn't resonate with me anymore. I was also doing a lot of drugs, and I know I said I didn't want to bring up any excuses, but that's just partially why I don't really remember everything. And so seeing it come to light, it's almost like me seeing it for the first time, because I've completely shut it out of my mind, blocked it out. What I did was wrong, and I know a lot of people are going to say I'm only coming on here because I'm getting a lot of hate, and I don't know what to say to that besides, I guess, yeah, you're right, I'm getting a lot of hate, and it makes you really think, and it's really hard to not believe what people are saying about you. But I just wanted to tell you guys my story. I wanted to tell you the truth from my mouth, because I know hearing it from rumors, it can sound a lot worse than it was. I promise you, no kids were ever involved. What I did in that bathroom had nothing to do about the building I was in. I know I let a lot of people down, and the people I let down the most is mothers and people with kids and people who thought they could trust me and knew who I was. I just want to say I'm truly sorry. I never meant to make anyone question the type of person I was. I never meant to hurt anyone. I never meant to make those mistakes. And people say they weren't mistakes, they were choices, which is absolutely true. I chose to do that stuff. I regret it so much. It's just not the person who I am anymore. And I would hope that people who love me, really care about me, can see me for the person who I am, the person who I have been. But if you choose to unfollow me or you choose to not support me, please go ahead. But wasting the church's time by sending people to my door is not the right thing to do. People said that they let the authorities know, and for that I'm just going to say, like, let them know, let them come at me and check me, because there's absolutely nothing. I was never coming from a place of ill intent whenever I was doing it. I guess I just don't really know what else to say, and I didn't really want to say anything just because I feel like that's not who I am anymore, so that's why I ignored it. I know this video is going to be so long. I know you don't even care about that. I don't know why I said that, but I just want you to hear the story and the truth from my mouth. People have a way of making it sound a lot worse than it really was, and I know it was bad, but there was truly no ill intention. I was broke. I was heartbroken. I was going through a lot in my life, and the only thing I had control over was my OnlyFans, and so I was really hyped for it at the moment, but when I joined social media, I realized that's where my focus was at, and that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And well, maybe not the rest of my life, but what I wanted to do full time while I could. I know there's people who are still going to hate me. I know there's people who are never going to believe me no matter what. And I just wanted to come on here and tell my truth. I've never told the full story about how I began, so hopefully this gives you some insight. And whether you choose to support me or not is completely up to you. It's just I wanted to tell my truth because I feel like a lot of people are trying to tell it for me. This is the last time I'll ever talk about this, and then I will just be moving on. If you can't move on, I totally get it. Block me, unfollow me, do what you have to do. But I know who I am now, and I know that I'm not that person that I used to be. I don't do those type of things that I used to do. It sucks. It took the whole internet hating me for me to be able to come out and admit it, but it's impossible for me to pretend it didn't happen, even though I was so far removed from it. But I just wanted to let you guys know my truth. I love you guys who have been supporting me so much. Thank you everyone who's reached out to me, and I just want to say I'm sorry to everyone I disappointed.